The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Marcel Proust. What if I told you that a single dose of so-called magic mushrooms could create a permanent shift in your personality, a change so deep and lasting it would normally take 4 decades to occur? Sounds impossible, right? But this isn't fiction, this is a real study conducted by scientists. And it may just be one of the most important psychological discoveries of our time. We've long believed that by the time we hit 30, our personality is mostly set in stone. And for the most part, that's true. Psychology tells us that personality traits, those deeply embedded ways we think, feel, and behave, tend to stabilize in adulthood. Changes after 30 are rare, and when they happen, they're usually slow and barely noticeable. This explains why it's so hard to let go of harmful patterns even when we want to change. But what if a single event, not years of therapy, not a life crisis, but a single mystical experience could shake the foundations of who we think we are? At Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Roland Griffiths, one of the most respected psychedelic researchers in the world, asked a question no one had dared ask before. Can a single high-dose experience with psilocybin, the active compound in magic mushrooms, permanently alter a person's personality? And the answer was yes. Griffiths and his team used the most respected tool in personality research, the 5-factor model, also known as the Big Five. The Big Five consists of agreeableness, how cooperative or compassionate you are; conscientiousness, how organized and responsible you are; extroversion, your tendency to seek excitement and social interaction; neuroticism, your sensitivity to stress and negative emotion; openness, your creativity, curiosity, imagination, and tolerance for new ideas. Among these 5, one stood out: openness. The results were astonishing. A single high dose of psilocybin under controlled conditions led to a statistically significant and long-lasting increase in the trait of openness, but only in those who had what researchers call a mystical type experience. So, what exactly is a mystical experience? Philosopher Alan Watts once described it like this: becoming aware of your true relationship with the universe, and being thunderstruck by the bliss beneath it all. But science needed something measurable, so researchers used 6 criteria, originally defined by philosopher Walter Stace. 1. A sense of unity with all things. 2. Transcendence of time and space. 3. Ineffability. The experience cannot be described in words. 4. A sense of sacredness. 5. A deep noetic knowing that this experience is more real than everyday life. 6. Positive emotion, peace, joy, love. Participants had to score 60% or higher in all 6 to qualify as having had a mystical experience. Here's how one participant described his experience after a high dose of psilocybin. In my mind's eye, I felt myself instinctively take on a posture of prayer. I wasn't scared, I was reverent. I bowed to a force I couldn't see, only feel. A love so deep and familiar, it felt like home. Time and space dissolved. My earthly self faded. And what remained was my soul bathing in something eternal. This is the kind of experience that leads to real change. Not because of the mushroom itself, but because of what it unlocks within the mind. This shift in openness is not just about becoming more artistic or curious. It's about becoming more human. It means you begin to accept others more. You become tolerant of people who are different from you. You stop living in fear of the unfamiliar. And that, perhaps, is what we need most right now, as a society and as a species. But here's the paradox. As we grow older, this very trait, openness, tends to decline. Lao Tzu once said, "At birth, man is supple and tender. In death, rigid and hard. Rigidity is the companion of death. Flexibility, the companion of life." Modern research agrees. Studies show that openness decreases by about 1 T-score point every decade. In this study, participants increased their openness by over 4 points. in just a few hours, a change that normally takes 40 years. This isn't just about personal growth, it's about healing the collective. If one dose can spark that much transformation in a single person, what happens when entire communities or societies begin to awaken? Could this be a path toward collective consciousness, toward empathy on a global scale? Maybe. But that doesn't mean everyone should go out and start taking psychedelics. Let's be clear. This study wasn't conducted at a party or a music festival. It happened in a controlled environment with trained guides, medical screening, and clear intentions. Psilocybin isn't the magic. The experience is. And that experience isn't guaranteed, nor is it safe for everyone. When used recklessly, these substances can lead to panic, confusion, and even trauma. But when used wisely, they can offer something few things can, a mirror into the deepest layers of our being. In a world torn by fear, division, and tribalism, perhaps what we need most is not more information, but more openness. Openness to change, openness to difference, openness to love. We now have scientific proof that such change is possible. And sometimes it only takes one moment of true insight to spark a lifelong transformation. So maybe the real question isn't, can people change? Maybe the real question is, what kind of world could we create if we did? Stay curious, stay open, until next time.